Learned scholars and transcendentalists therefore condemn the materialistic path of fruitive activities because it is the original source and breeding ground of material miseries, both in this life and in the next. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll start by welcoming to our class today His Grace Vignanasa Govinda Prabhu and his son Sham Sundar with 3 times Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So, Shukadeva Goswami, after speaking about the miseries of material life, is finally now giving this conclusion that we should not go on the materialistic path of fruitive activity. In the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that the Supreme Lord gives all information in Bhagavad Gita about the aim of life, and at the end of Bhagavad Gita, he demands surrender unto him. People do not generally like this demand. But one who cultivates spiritual knowledge for many births eventually surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Now we have come to Krishna consciousness. So we should not fall into this trap. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. We should, if we go into the path of fruitive activity, then this will not be, the end of so many janmas. This will be one more janma then. We'll be born again and again because we have not surrendered to Krishna. So what is the surrender unto Krishna is very clearly given by Shukadeva Goswami. Don't go on the materialistic part of fruitive activity. This means that everything which we do should be for the pleasure of Krishna and not to get us some result. This is very clear. When we do something to get us some result, fruitive result, then it is going to result in misery. You may get some temporary pleasure and then you may get bewildered by it and fall down. Or you may get some temporary pleasure and then misery. So, once one becomes a devotee, then we have to give up this thought of fruitive activity. So, we'll say, every morning I'm doing my morning program, I'm following Bhagavatam, I'm conducting Bhakti Vriksha, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm not in fruitive activity. But then, what about the other part of life? We know that Prabhupada said there must be 2 tracks, spiritual and material. So, this material track of life can be the one which is the path of fruitive activity. So, that materialistic track, how do we conduct it in such a way that it doesn't become fruitive? Because Prabhupada says that the spiritual track engine should pull the material track engine along behind. Not that the material track engine can independently go on. It doesn't have the capability. If you allow the material track engine to go on independently, then what is going to happen is you will face the same fruitive results as others. We have to go behind the spiritual engine, which means we must keep the spiritual engine in front, starting from childhood to youth. So as we have set the standards, youth must be chanting 16 rounds every day. And by the time they finish college, they should be initiated. That is our standard of Mathura Desh and NSK and wherever our devotees are. So, in this way, by the sadhana, we must keep the engine of spiritual activity first. That means our sadhana must first be finished and then only material activity. The minimum sadhana we know. According so following the 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds. So the 16 rounds is relaxed only for children who are less than 12 years old, according to their age. After that, 16. And then after that, of course, the rest of our life, 16 is the minimum. And then always there must be japa marathons, extra chanting for other purposes, and reading, and hearing. After we do all this, then only we have time for material activities. Otherwise, that will become fruitive. Next, whatever material activities we are doing, that also has to be behind this engine of spiritual life. That means that it must be geared towards pleasing Krishna. That means nothing in our material life should be an obstacle to Krishna consciousness. There must be no dishonesty, saying in business we have to be dishonest. There must be no cheating, saying this is the way I will make money. There must be no acting in a way which harms others who are in material life with us, someone at work, someone in the business. We must not harm them, saying this is the way everyone is, this is the way I must go forward. We can actually do everything in a proper Krishna consciousness way And then whatever Krishna gives us as the result, that is more than enough for us. Similarly, so that is work. And then there is similarly work at home. It should all be done for the pleasure of Krishna. The house should be maintained clean, very nice. Prasadam should be cooked every day. And the house should be a center of spreading Krishna consciousness. So this way the household life was also going behind the engine of spiritual life. And then student life, the students must be, should study something which is not ugra karma and which is not abominable. You should not study something which is going to result in suffering during your studies and then suffering after the studies. You should study something by which there is no such suffering. You should study something which you like so that you will do it without any suffering. It could be the same thing. For one person, being a doctor may be without suffering. For one person, being an engineer. For another person, being a chartered accountant. For another person, being a singer or an actor. Whatever it is without suffering you do only that. Otherwise, again, your spiritual life will suffer. So if everything is done in this nice, balanced way, and a student life passes in this way, and afterwards working life also I've already described, nicely doing everything in a Krishna conscious way, then there will be no fruit for whatever we do, and this will be our last life, and that will be the real Jnanavan. Hare Krishna.